Hello and welcome to this Dhanteras special. I'm Manisha Gupta. Well, the Diwali celebrations have kicked off across India with Dhanteras. For many Indians, this day is considered to be auspicious to buy gold and silver. Hence, it leads to a huge retail demand for jewellers. This time as well, a lot of people have flocked to various markets, including Mumbai's Zaveri Bazaar, to buy silver. We did see those very long queues to buy those metals there. The metal has, remember, outperformed all other metals with this year. The prices have hit all-time highs of ₹1,00,000 a kg in India. Even in the global market, silver is trading at a 12-year highs. However, the love for yellow metal also continues to remain intact, even as gold prices have hit a string of highs in this year. Gold hit an all-time highs in October. Globally, it is hovering around $2,600 an ounce, and in the Indian markets at 80,000 rupees per 10 grams. Joining me is now the experts in the market to talk to us and take us through on what really is expected of this Dhanteras and Diwali as a season. Remember, this is the most important quarter when it goes to buying the precious metals, because this is a time that it's about festivities, New Year, and then, of course, wedding season begins as well. Almost 40 lakh weddings are slated between November to Feb, and that is the demand that also seems to be coming in at this point in time. Joining me now on the show is Vikas Singh. He's Managing Director and CEO at MMTC PAMP. Sachin Jain is India Head of World Gold Council. Suvanker is Executive Director at Senco Gold. And Nirav Bhansali is Convener at GJEPC. Gentlemen, hi, thank you so much for joining us. And very many happy Dhanteras to all of you. I'll start with you first, Vikas, and I can see you sitting outside your store, and I can see all of that crowd there as well. And I don't forget that view because I've seen it in Delhi once as well. So even at these all-time highs, are you looking at good crowd, good pickup?
Yeah, hi again, Manisha. Thank you for having me on your show. And it's exactly almost a year since we spoke last, possibly
Yes.
same time, same place. As you can see, we are at our store in Noida, Sector 18. It is completely full up. We've had constant traffic from the morning, early morning, almost about 9:30 a.m. And we would expect this to carry on till almost about 10, 11 p.m. As best as we can handle. To your points, I think very important. Yes, gold is almost 35% higher this year as compared to same time last year. Silver even at a higher level. We had a relatively slower start to the season, and we were wondering if the price is likely to depress demand. But interestingly, India always goes for what's auspicious and what it loves, which is gold and silver. And we have seen a very sharp jump up in volumes over the last month, and especially today. We were pulling out invoicing data for today, till date, the date till date as compared to last year. The number of invoices raised are significantly higher than last year. So hopefully, I think the buoyancy is good, should play well for the industry and the sector. And yeah, that's the way we see it.
All right. Well, that's an amazing view to look at and to begin the show with as well, because it's bright, glittering behind you. And yes, we can see those crowds as well. Sachin, what's your sense? So the start was slightly slow, and that really was a bit of a concern. But that's exactly not the scene that we're looking at right now. I mean, the week has been good, and Dhanteras today, I mean, we have had various reporters and stringers in various cities and states and all of those Sarafa and Zaveri Bazaars. And we've seen pictures of people queuing up to buy gold, and more than gold, perhaps silver coins as well. What has been your sense?
So Manisha, first and foremost, thanks for getting me on the show. To you and to your viewers, very happy Dhanteras. Lots of abundance, lots of joy and prosperity. I completely second Vikas's view. It's been an extremely exciting time. And 20 days back, when for the first time we crossed the 80,000 mark in India, there's a lot of apprehension as to whether the consumer is going to come out and whether we'll see buoyancy and action on the floor. What we see now is actually what we've seen through the year. When we had, presumptions of when the stock market goes up, gold goes down. When gold goes down, stock market goes up. A lot of things have been new and for the first. And this too is the first. And 20 days back, the less confidence that we had that consumers might not come. Last 1 week, I've been on the floor and we've been seeing extreme buoyancy, extreme excitement from the consumers coming back around yellow metal, around the confidence on gold as a subject. Our last quarter numbers have been very strong as well. But this continued into the floors, and what we're seeing today is a lot of action on the floor. And I think we will take up from other sectors like electronics and so on and so forth. So it's going to be the year for gold. It has been the year for gold, and it's going to be the season for gold.
All right, this has been a year for gold. It's going to be a season for gold. And Nirav, coming to you then, and what would you say has changed? I do understand that in the last 1 year, we've seen a lot of transparency come into the markets, more IPOs, more stores opening. There's a big number that the street is still anticipating on the kind of numbers that we could see in sense of new entrants in the space by next year. But when it comes to Dhanteras, and yes, we've seen bars and coins do very well. How is it doing with jewelry? How is diamonds doing right now? The other entrant into this market this year, and very strongly so, has been lab-grown as well. How are you looking at all of these markets?
So, firstly, thank you, Manisha. It's always nice to be on your show. And like you mentioned, there have been a lot of euphoria last year with all-time high prices in silver and gold. A lot of IPOs, new entrants, Aditya Birla making a splash into this space, and like other categories also. So I am currently sitting in our city mall, Ghatkopar, and there are around 15 jewelers right here. Aditya Birla just opened the Indriya store over here, and the euphoria is amazing. There is a continuous crowd of people into every store. I'm right now sitting in a lab-grown store, and there have been a lot of inquiries, a lot of interest in lab-grown space also. Natural diamond is also doing very well. So I think the entire jewelry space, Dhanteras definitely for gold and silver is unbelievably good. But looking at the consumers' interest in this mall right now, and what I saw with Vikas, behind Vikas, and the numbers that they are clocking, I think it's going to be a very good season for all the categories, especially gold and silver, but across the spectrum, including diamonds, lab-grown, and all other categories.
Oh, well, absolutely. People do have a lot of option right now on plate. And yes, they're making complete use of that, because I must say that you've absolutely aced your frame with the kind of background that you are making us see right now. But tell us, you know, as you're all saying that you're all slightly surprised that at these all-time highs as well, we are looking at strong demand coming in, and we're looking at people flocking in. How is the ticket size looking like? People are buying. Is it like more a token buying? Is it an investment that it seems to you? What really is the token size that you're looking at?
So Manisha, interestingly, the buoyancy in the sector always remains high. I think the question that everyone is always asking, and please don't ask me for the answer, is where is it going next? What's the price really going to be at? You know, at the end of the day, gold, silver, and other metals are a finite commodity. So, you know, at the end of the day, there's only so much available, you know, from a consumer demand point of view or an investment demand point of view. Increasingly with market volatility, it's come back in again, you know, in the form of all the, you know, geopolitical unrest that we have around us. Gold and silver continues to be the safe haven, and that's really where the governments and individuals are investing. So, from a points and bars point of view, we are seeing, you know, very good demand. Over the course of the last year, we've also got voted as the purest gold and silver in the country. So that's a very, very big recognition for us. And we've also got voted the most trusted brand, one of the most trusted brands in the country. So I think, you know, as these recognitions keep coming in, and we have a portfolio which is, you know, crafted really uniquely and, you know, appeals, you know, to our customers. We've got new designs in the market. So, you know, we've got a coin which was launched in gold and silver on Ayodhya with Ramlalla, and you know, shank-shaped coins, etc. All of these have led to a very, very sharp surge in terms of demand. As a matter of fact, you know, we have the usual unfortunate situation that we are unable to fulfill the demand for some of these products. Lastly, urban or rural, the buoyancy remains as high. So I think it's important for us to keep, you know, expanding our footprint and getting to this demand. And you know, we don't see any slowdown in the near future.
All right. I mean, that's a very, very bullish statement coming in there. And I absolutely get your point. I mean, with the kind of, you know, customization that you really seem to be doing on what people want to see on that gold coin as well. Suvanker, coming to you then. And I you know, I walked into a jewelry shop recently, and somebody was asking for a Lakshmi Ji picture on a coin. Somebody asked for their own name initial on a coin. So, well, yes, there's a lot that people are asking for. They do want to buy that gold and silver, but a very customized, you know, way of doing it. How are you looking at the markets today? How has it been for Senco in sense of Dhanteras until now?
Let's see, from the morning, seeing steady footfall. And, you know, it's a weekday. So as the evening is progressing, we are seeing more and more footfall coming in. But the morning itself was very good. And what we saw is that over the past 3-4 days itself, you know, consumers who are there, a lot of wedding buyers were the ones who were utilizing the offers and the schemes and the new designs and collections that we launched on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the good part about today is that we are seeing a lot of small ticket buyers, which they were missing over the last 3 4 days. There were more of bigger size ticket buyers over the last 3 4 days, but today earrings, rings, either in gold, diamond, platinum. I think that people are utilizing this auspicious day like the old times and buying jewelry, whatever money they have as per their budget, and buying something for their home, which is the best part about it. So yes, the quantity, as we see, because the gold price are close to all-time high, the quantities have taken a hit. We are seeing a 10-15% dip in terms of kgs of gold to be sold. But in terms of value, if you look at it, the gold price is up by 25-30% year on year. So we are seeing a value increase of 12-15%. And right now I'm in a little bit of a suburban market of Calcutta, and we could see that people from whichever part, even I can see that in the smaller towns, the rural markets, people are celebrating Dhanteras. The agricultural income has been pretty good. So whatever money they have, they are buying. And the best part, one thing is that the old gold exchange, that has been a great savior for the industry. A lot of people are coming with their old gold jewelry, exchanging it for new jewelry, and that is also helping in the footfalls and the conversion.
Oh, well, absolutely. We do see that crowd behind you in that Calcutta shop as well. But coming to you, Sachin, what is the exchange numbers that World Gold Council has seen until now for the last, let's say, 2 or 3 months? What are those numbers there? And the second thing is, how are you looking at, because I remember this conversation with you last time, that it's not just about tier 1, tier 2, it's also about tier 3, tier 4. Even rural India seems to be buying, something that Suvanker also is alluding to.
So I'll answer your second question first, Manisha. So, you talk about tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 markets and also the rural India. And we need to acknowledge the fact that a large part of consumption of gold happens in the smaller markets and rural India. We've just come out of one of the best monsoons that India has seen. And also we need to recognize that mentally, while in urban markets we talk about investment, in the rural markets, it's called saving. And in some sense, they are price agnostic. And the reports that we've been getting on the consumption at rural India has been rock solid with pure, additional and outside of a great monsoon, people are willing to outgo and invest more in saving and increase their savings. And that's happening through gold. So that's one part. So completely agree. And I second the point on the fact that it's continued great performances from the tier 3, tier 4 markets, but substantial improvements in the rural markets. That's one. Now, on the consumption side of what we saw in the last 2 or 3 months, one, we've seen the surge of the jewelry demand. Now, that is something in Q2, which is April, May, June, we saw a dip. So after the changes by our respectable finance minister on the 22nd of July, with the custom duty change, we saw a great surge of consumers coming to buy jewelry in August. And from Suvanker's store and from other partners that I picked up, a lot of preponement of buying of gold was happening. So if you had for example, a wedding in the family, there was a bit of preponement in that time. So that's what we saw quite up. And as we got into later part of, let's say, August, September, that's when the demand for bars and coins, which is investment demand, went up. So, and I'm presuming that this up, while it's going to be hugely up in tonnage, and hence also in the value. So last quarter has been up both on jewelry demand and hence consumer coming in, the affinity for gold jewelry as consumption has gotten amplified, but also very categorically, the investment demand for gold has been up from the entire last 3 quarters. And that's been quite a substantial reason of the growth. And the reason of that is primarily the returns of gold that people have been getting. And it's been performing as one of the best asset classes that we've seen.
All right. Well, that's a very, very bullish note coming in across our panelists there. But with that, we'll go for a very short break. When we come back, we will try to understand from our experts on what really is changing in this industry, the kind of buying that we are seeing even at these higher levels, one. And second is with the kind of expansions, explosions, new entrants coming into the market, all believing that the double-digit growth here can continue. What really has led to that? After this very short break. Welcome back. We are in conversation with our guests here talking about Dhanteras, the kind of trends that is and what really seems to be looking now going forward in future. Vikas, let me begin with you. And yes, it's the time that we've seen real estate gain. We've seen equity markets run up. We've seen gold and silver do quite well. I understand we are in a world of uncertainty and perhaps tangible commodity like gold and silver, especially something where we're talking about de-dollarization or we're talking about global central banks buying at record levels as well. All of that really seems to be supportive. But going forward, what would you say has changed per se in India, where you have all age levels actually buying into gold and silver? And what's your outlook now until next Diwali?
So Manisha, I'll take it on two counts. I think the one big change which has happened after almost a couple of years of conversations with the government is a reduction in customs duty earlier this year. I think what the government has done is really path-breaking. We never anticipated customs duty coming down from 15% to 6%. That is like phenomenal. Now, with a decision as bold as that, in one stroke, I think the entire menace of the grey market has got addressed. And that informal demand has come into the formal sector, which is a benefit for the national exchequer. So I think that's one thing really, from a regulation point of view, has been a big shot in the arm for the sector. I think the other piece that we would look forward to, and that's a conversation we've had, multiple times in the past, is if the government at some stage opens up, the export of 24-karat gold. If that can happen, then India truly becomes a precious metals hub, which is truly the vision that everyone carries within the government and also within the sector. So I think this can make a big change. Besides this, which is the other side, which is more from a behavioral side, is, the realization that we have a diversified portfolio. I think since COVID, there has been a constant advice that you need to bring in at least a 10% commodities exposure, which is precious metals exposure into your portfolio. We now see that materializing, and which is where, therefore, the so-called young adults, millennials, Gen Z, as you would like to describe them, are actually actively, buying gold and silver. If you see the crowd behind me just now, you will actually see the profile is what you were speaking about, Manisha. So it's good to see that this, this habit to invest, in a diversified way, and also specifically precious metals, is coming in well. And we think this bodes well from a demand in the future point of view also.
Oh, well, absolutely. Sachin, what's your sense? What really needs to change even from here on? We are very bullish. The way the markets really seem to be opening up, the government has been supportive. So has been the case with rules and regulations as well. But when you look at the next 1 year until next Diwali, where do you see these markets?
I think, Manisha, over the last few years, and not just the last few months, the steps that the industry has taken and along with the government, of course, there was a custom duty reduction that Vikas touched upon, but also very fundamental changes like hallmarking are showing results now. The deficit that the consumer had on trust with our industry is reducing, and hence the confidence is much higher. There's also a surge of organized play that's coming in. So all these things are current. Now, what I see into the future is also more financialization, and I think on all the consumer surveys that we do, the younger audience, and while on one side we talk about their lifestyles are changing, and hence accessorizations are changing and so on and so forth, but also there are a bunch of a cohort which is very financially savvy. And I foresee that in the coming time, the jewelry and the financial side will merge a little bit in some ways. But I also foresee that the sheer fact that the way gold is performed has also acted upon how they're consuming gold. And I foresee that, again, into the coming years, more digitalization, more reach and talking their language in their sense will help. I also foresee that products like ETFs, which are phenomenal products, because not everybody like on the street knows that when you buy an ETF for, let's say, 1 gram, it's stored back or physically backed by the same weight of gold. I think those things, as they get popular, will only intensify the consumption, or at least the openness to consume gold, not as a traditional asset, but really as a current, contemporary, I would even say cool asset to have. And I think that's what we all have to do.
Oh, absolutely. Nirav, I want to come back to you and talk to you about jewelry yet again here, because we have seen industry change. And as Sachin just said, there's been hallmarking, there's been certification, there's a lot of self-purchase now. And when people are buying it for themselves, they buy the best. And that really has changed the market, and you want to buy different things. You want to buy designs that haven't been worn before. How have you seen that? And would you say going forward, it really is going to be about designs, consumer, how the consumer is treated, the whole experience? That also is something that seems to be getting up.
So over the past few years, the industry has really transformed. It's really matured, and there are so many different things that have come, like hallmarking, which Sachin mentioned. There is so much emphasis on good designs, more organized players coming into the space, the trust and transparency that we are offering to the end consumer. So it's really been transformational, and this has brought about a real confidence into this product. Along with that, the gold prices and silver prices, which have been really rocking over the past few years. So the consumers, be it any age, young millennial, Gen Z, or even the older bracket, they're all looking at this industry in a very different light. And because of that, I'm seeing a very different euphoria into this industry from the supplier side, the organized player side, as well as the consumer side. And I see very good times ahead for this industry going forward. All the type
Nirav,
of jewelry
let me ask you, Nirav, if you were planning your next year, what is in Nirav's notebook? What are you planning for the next year?
So we are really planning to expand our manufacturing capabilities to catch up with the supply, the demand that is there, and to match that in our supply. So we are very bullish on our space.
And what are you pushing forth with, Nirav? Is it gold jewelry? Is it silver jewelry? Is it diamonds? Is it lab grown? What is on priority?
So we are into diamond jewelry, and we are very bullish in diamond jewelry space also in India, because there's so many new stores opening up. The organized players are really ramping up their capacities very fast. I think at least 1,000 to 1,500 new shops, new jewelry stores are opening every year, and that is really a massive demand that is there, and I'm sure they are all selling very well. That's why they have such robust plans to open more and more stores.
Yes, everybody I speak to has big plans going forward, increasing their footfall. I mean, increasing their the whole works really. This one is to you, Suvanker. What is your plan now going forward with the way the market really seems to be expanding, with the way you're looking at so many buyers coming in, and what are you looking to plan now for the next 1 year?
So see, our store openings that have been scheduled, after the Dhanteras season is over, we will have 7-8 stores in the pipeline. So that should be one of our plans. The expansion into the smaller towns and cities through the franchising model, because there are a lot of potential investors who are willing to take a franchisee, be a part of the brand, of the journey, and take the product and designs forward to the consumer. So that is one part of the plan. We focus on everyday wear, lightweight jewelry, and especially diamond jewelry. I think that is very, very important with the gold prices going up. And I think World Gold Council had predicted it much before that it will be on the upside. So therefore, 14 carat, 18 carat, government is thinking of 9 carat jewelry as well. So 9 carat jewelry with diamonds and other precious, semi-precious stones. I think those will be very important. Design and innovation, continuously coming up with new ideas. I think that will be something that we need to continue to keep the new generation attracted to the industry.
Oh, well, absolutely. There was a time we would say that youngsters do not buy gold and silver. They would rather buy gadgets or go for vacations. But that clearly seems to have changed in the last 1 year. We have seen all age groups actually come in and start investing in gold and silver, and various forms of it, by the way. And there's digital and ETF and bars and coins and jewelry of various kinds as well. So we look forward to all of that. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us. With that, it's a wrap on this Dhanteras special. We wish you a very, very happy Dhanteras and Diwali and festivities going forward. Thank you so much for watching, and we wish you all a very happy Diwali as well.